not a problem. Just two more quick points I want to make, and then I'll quit bugging you guys. First thing, I want to read a quote which was from Muhammad Ali in a New York Times interview in 2001. Ali said, and I quote, "I said a lot of things in the heat of the moment I shouldn't have said. Called him names I shouldn't have called him. I apologize for that. I am sorry. It was meant to promote the fight." Unquote. That's one thing. Then, and sure, now I'm losing now I forgot my second point.
That's okay. I mean, we can tear up your first point, no problem. I'm kidding. No, I mean, I've heard that my entire life. That Ali would go on the record saying the only reason I said that was to build the gate. Well, they weren't in the era of getting percentages of the gate yet. The gate wouldn't have mattered. That fight was going to sell out no matter what city you put it in.
Well, percentage of pay-per-views, that's what they have now. The gate, I'm sure they still got percentages of the gate.
No, I'm telling you, they did not get percentages of the gate. They got their guaranteed money.
They got their guaranteed money.
I can't say that I know this for a fact, Chris. You know that I don't mean to disagree with you, but I think in that particular fight, Ali was getting a percentage, and Frazier only got a flat guarantee, and I think Frazier was actually a little bit bitter about that as well because he got paid considerably less than Ali in the end on that fight.
If that's true, and I don't know. If that's true, it's news to me. It's news to me. I thought that was within the last 20 years where fighters were getting cuts of the gate, but whatever. Bottom line.
Well, I did remember the other point I wanted to make, and that was that one comment that I felt that Joe Frazier, and it was central to this documentary too, that I thought that Joe Frazier took the wrong way. Quite honestly, I thought he took the wrong way, and that was the whole poem of it's going to be a Thrilla and a Thrilla, and he called him a gorilla. I think Frazier, and it was pointed out in the documentary, took that in the terms of like the word "you monkey," which was again another racial slur. I don't believe for a moment, and I've given this a lot of thought, I don't believe for a moment that Ali meant it that way.
I couldn't disagree more, Pete.
The word gorilla simply because it rhymed with Manila, and you know back then his comedic, childlike manners in these poems and so forth, that was just entertainment. It was to put asses in seats, quite frankly, and I think he did a great job at that throughout his career, and I honestly do believe that is the way he meant that. I don't think he meant that as a racial slur. I honestly don't.
Pete, he called him an Uncle Tom. How would gorilla not be a racial slur?
He was getting racial.
Oh, yes, he was.
He was huge. And if you're worried about words that...
I said that.
You can't come on and just talk over us.
Uncle Tom was wrong.
Can't do that.
Ignorant was wrong. I just feel that the gorilla thing was not meant at all.
You're worried about words that rhyme. Vanilla rhymes with all those words too, and he was calling him the white man's fighter. He could have just easily said vanilla, and that wouldn't have been as offensive as gorilla.
Yeah,
I'm angered that 30 years ago a black man called another black man a gorilla. I'm upset at that, and I am not black. So you'd better believe if I'm Joe Frazier, I'm still pissed to the bone. Yeah. That kind of stuff was talked about with me.
You know what? And again, Pete, I love you. You're a great listener. We love chatting with you and meeting with you at the Boxing Hall of Fame. But I totally disagree. He got completely racial at that fight. Muhammad Ali can sit there and apologize till his face turns blue. As far as he wasn't doing it to be personal. I mean, the anger in his face and the words that he was saying to that guy on the interview. And I remember watching this as a kid. He was serious as a heart attack. This man truly believed in the Uncle Tom and the gorilla and everything else. And I am not a black man, and I agree with Chris. I would take that as a complete racial slur. In my eyes, I just can't see.
Well, you got to remember Ali did use that rhyme all the time, but a lot of times when he did say that rhyme, he put a bit of what he thought into that rhyme. You know what I mean? Whatever little bit of truth that he could put in there, that's what he.
This wasn't completely off the cuff. I mean, he went out and bought a rubber gorilla. I mean, this wasn't something that he just thought about sitting in this chair. He actually had a prop.
Calling Sonny Liston a bear and calling Joe Frazier a gorilla are not both coming from the same zoo. Are you hearing me?
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like he's calling them both just animals. What do you got over there, Tim? Tim, I'm sure you've got a lot of stuff going on.
The washerwoman. He called
lots of people names.
Foreman the mummy. He called Larry Holmes a peanut head.
Well, yeah, but he never called Larry Holmes an Uncle Tom. He never called Larry Holmes a gorilla. Well, he called him a peanut head. I mean, come on.
What this goes back to, guys, it goes back to the same thing we talked about earlier with David Hay and the T-shirt against the Klitschko's, and it goes to the crossing the line of the trash talking. It gets to be personal. Instead of trying to hype up the fight, you actually get into the personal side of it. And I mean, we got on here, guys saying that Ali was a womanizer and wasn't an angel, and he also called Floyd Patterson and somebody else.
Oh, he called Floyd Patterson the rabbit. That was another animal.
Well, he also called him Uncle Tom.
He called Floyd Patterson Uncle Tom?
Yeah, that's what somebody put on
here.
He
called Ernie Terrell Uncle Tom.
Right, Ernie Terrell and Uncle. That was the other name that was on here.
Ernie Terrell and Uncle Tom.
I'll give you that, but I don't think he called Floyd Patterson.
That's my knowledge that he called Floyd Patterson and Uncle Tom. Well, one other just last quick point I wanted to make is that I felt that the documentary was well put together, well produced. I give it all the credit in the world as a great production by HBO, by the producer that put it together. There's just, my point as an Ali fan though too is that for the young fans out there, boxing fans who are not old enough to have seen Muhammad Ali fight or remember him in the ring, I would hate for this documentary to be the last word they heard on the man as a fighter. Okay, not the personality, not the religion, which I think fueled much of that Uncle Tom crap. But anyway, that's just my opinion.
I'll give you that.
I'll agree with you there.
That just makes me mad.
I'll agree with you that a young kid that wants to get involved in boxing history should not watch that as the end all
as the final word.
Thrilla Manila.
No.
Problem is there's been 75 Thrilla in Manila documentaries, and one of them has had Joe Frazier as the central point. And I was saying off camera to Nestor a little bit ago, the reason this is from the viewpoint of Joe Frazier is because Joe Frazier is able to interview in 2009. If the tables were turned, you wouldn't hear anything about Joe Frazier. He would just fade away. If Ali was still in 2009 able to conduct an interview, that's what you'd be hearing right now. Tim, you got anything else on there before we end this?
No, that's about it, man.
I think we have to pull the plug on this. We're about out of time. Wouldn't you agree?
Okay.
Yep.
Hey, you guys take care, and thanks for having me on.
No problem.
Thanks, Pete.
We'll talk to you soon, brother.
See ya.
Alrighty. See you in June, buddy.
Yes,
all right, man.
Yes, we will. And with that, let's go ahead and take a break. We'll come right back with our final segment of the evening, our upcoming fights.
And if you haven't seen this documentary yet, look for it on HBO. They're going to have replays released for the rest of this month, and it's probably on demand as well if you have Comcast.
It's longer than an hour too, so they'll probably put it on
90 minutes.
DVD. They'll probably put it on a DVD at some point.
Yeah, I mean, if you haven't caught it, it's very interesting. So check it out.
It's awesome to see the decline of Joe Frazier, where he's living these days. And
yeah, that's we didn't even talk about that, but yeah, I did. That's one of the parts that I did see.
In the same place he's lived before.
Let's go ahead and take our break. We'll be right back. This is your Bolo Punch Boxing Hour.